Tom Markowski joining me now in the studio. Now, this is a little unusual, but follow me here. Coming up in a few minutes is our main event, boys basketball, Walled Lake Central and Lakeland. Big game in the KLAA this week. Now, we're not going to tell you the score nor tell you who won. Those highlights are coming up. But what we will say is it was unusually low scoring for a boys basketball game. So the topic is, and we've talked about this before, the shot clock.
Well, that game was a low-scoring game, and it's not that unusual, especially in the KLA North Division. There's a lot of teams that like to slow it down, and there's been some talk that perhaps they ought to speed up the game, add more interest to the game. A shot clock for it would do that. Now, in the PSL, they don't need a shot clock. That's the closest thing in high school basketball that you'll see to the NBA as far as the tempo. So it's really in the suburbs, and specifically in some areas of the suburbs, that perhaps it's needed. Some coaches like it, some don't. 40-second shot clock is what I would look at if I was to institute something like that. I would see experimental implementation of this rule, perhaps at some of the Christmas tournaments that, are just for fun, just to see how this shot clock would work to teams and maybe get the opinions of the coaches afterwards. Now, I don't think you could really institute it right away, or if BCAM really supported it, but for those that like to see a more up-tempo game, I think the shot clock would work and would add more excitement to the game. Some coaches feel that would take away from, the Milan effect of way back when in Indiana, where you had that underdog that could win some of those games against the highly rated teams like a Pershing. So, there's pros and cons. If you want to buzz in on us as far as your opinions, I think it's a ways away if we're going to have it. But I like the topic itself, and maybe speed up the game a little bit, especially in that game that we have highlights on.
I agree. You can comment. Just go to our Connect page at statechampsnetwork.com and tell us how you feel about the shot clock. If you can't run your offense in 40 seconds, then you don't deserve to be out there. So that sounds like plenty of time. I agree with that. I think an experiment would be good to see. Tom and I also have an online version of The Buzz. You can find it at our website, statechampsnetwork.com. This week's topics, please.
New football coach at Divine Child. We'll take a look at that. And also Travis Smith out of Ithaca changed his mind, going to a different school for football. And look ahead to the PSL playoffs, the best playoffs in the state coming up.
Absolutely. Check it all out at statechampsnetwork.com.